On a freezing New Year's Eve night, 1952, the biggest star in country music was riding through the mountains in the backseat of a baby blue Cadillac. He was sick, he was exhausted, and by sunrise, Hank Williams would be dead. But what happened during those final hours has never stopped haunting people. Some say it was a tragedy, others say something followed that car through the night. And decades later, people still claim they see Hank's ghost making that final ride. This is the eerie story of the last journey of Hank Williams. On December the 31st, 1952, Hank Williams was only 29 years old, but years of pain, exhaustion, and non-stop touring had taken a heavy toll. He was scheduled to perform on New Year's Day in Canton. He was too ill to travel normally, so Hank climbed into the back seat of his famous baby blue 1952 Cadillac in Montgomery. He was wrapped in blankets as he prepared for the long winter journey north. And at the wheel was the 17-year-old Charles Carr. He was hired to drive the country legend through the night. Carr likely had no idea that he was about to become part of one of country music's darkest stories. Along the route, they stopped in Knoxville at the historic Andrew Johnson Hotel. Witnesses said Hank was in rough shape. He struggled to walk, and he had to be helped to his room. A doctor was called. Hank reportedly received injections that include morphine and vitamins B12. Then he returned to his Cadillac. The hotel stop will become the last time anyone besides Charles Carr was believed to have seen Hank alive. The weather got worse as they drove north. Snow fell hard across the mountain roads. The night grew colder, and at some point between Tennessee and West Virginia, Carr became concerned by the silence behind him. He reached into the back seat to check on Hank. What he felt sent a chill that was felt throughout history. Hank's hand was cold. The biggest voice in country music had slipped away somewhere on that lonely highway. It was miles from help, miles from the stage, and miles from the cheering crowds. As morning broke, Carr arrived in Oak Hill and stopped at a gas station. The authorities were called, and there in the back seat of the Cadillac, Hank Williams was officially pronounced dead. He was only 29 years old. Then the king of country music was gone. But for many people, the story does not end there. Over time, strange legends began to grow around the final ride. Charles Carr later described the trip as deeply unsettling. Some retellings claimed the car felt heavy, unnaturally cold, as if another presence rode with them in the dark. Then came the stories from travelers. On New Year's Eve, some say they saw an old 1952 Cadillac gliding through the fog on the remote highways. Others claimed the car would appear for only a few seconds and then vanish into the mist. So no driver, no sound, only headlights cutting through the cold. Was it their imagination, local folklore, or the echo of one final journey that never truly ended? Even the old Andrew Johnson Hotel has gathered its own ghost stories. Some later visitors claim they hear the faint strumming of guitar in empty hallways. Others report hearing a lonely voice singing in the distance. And a few believed they saw a shadow pass through a doorway wearing a cowboy hat. True haunting, or old building sounds, or a legend too powerful to stay silent. Who knows? But the legend persists. One final legend remains. Some say that Hank was writing lyrics in the back seat before he died. In a notebook, loose pages, a final unfinished song? Who knows? There was no confirmed lost anthem was ever found. Maybe it never existed. Maybe it did. Or maybe the last song of Hank Williams disappeared into that winter night forever. Was the final ride of Hank Williams only a tragedy of fame, pain, and exhaustion? Or did something deeper, stranger, happen on that frozen road? You decide. And if you ever find yourself driving through the mountains on New Year's Eve, watch your mirror. You may not be alone. And if you enjoy True mysteries, legends, and eerie stories from history. Subscribe to Eerie Tales and Legends, because some stories never die.